Good afternoon or good morning. It doesn't look like anyone is connected yet, and that is fine. I don't know if anyone is even going to see this. I am really getting this for the replay value. I did have a live that was scheduled, and I am having trouble. It keeps telling me to allow access to camera and microphone on the laptop, but I don't see how to do that. So, because I can't figure out how to do that, I am just creating another live, and that kind of sucks because I don't really know. Hold on, what's going on? If it's going to webcam mobile. Okay. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out how to cancel that one or whatever, how to close it since I can't do anything with it. But hey, Golden. So basically, I wanted to create this live stream to debunk a number of lies that have been shared. And actually, if y'all give me just a second, I just want to edit the description and title of this live to match the one that I was going to do, so that if anyone does catch the replay, they'll have that information, because that is what I wanted to cover. So let me see if it will let me do so. Edit title and description. Okay, so far so good. Thank you for your patience. Blah, 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 blah. Gotta love this stuff. See, I don't know how y'all do this. I don't have patience for this kind of stuff. It's exactly why I'm not a content creator. Save, and then this one, delete forever. All right. I understand deleting this video. Yes, delete forever. Okay. All right. So let's get into this. There have been a lot of lives being done by people like Brown Eye, people like Shinna Speaks, people like King of Commentary, people like Bougie Collective, Kiki. And this is the only time that I plan to talk about this, because I'm going to allow my legal team to handle this moving forward, and I'm not going to. But what I do want to do is address the lies and the foolishness. So, first of all, saying the word allegedly does not protect you from, defamation. You are still responsible. There's a lot of different cases that have established precedents in this. Kosovan versus V.A. Stone, Liberston versus Gelstein, Mahoney versus Adonarek, Steinlieber versus Alphase, et cetera, et cetera. So just because you say allegedly, if you're still intentionally giving false information, then you can still be held liable for a number of reasons. If what you're saying is malicious, unverified, sensationalist, if you failed to try to, provide context or balance, if the other party does not have fair opportunity in real time to give a rebuttal, and if what you're saying is related to unethical or regulatory elements. Those are all reasons. So you're still going to be held liable for the things that you all have stated. But let's talk about a few things. First of all, the allegations that have been made in October 2025 that I have aided and abetted the trafficking of minors across state lines is factually untrue. The allegations that have been made that children have been taken away from their mother without their consent and moved across state lines without notification of the court is incorrect and untrue. The allegations that have been made that anyone that there is not that the parent in question does not have legal authorization to relocate to another state with the children that they have custody of is untrue. The allegations that the biological mother of the children is not aware of the children's whereabouts, did not consent to their move, and has not seen the children is untrue. In fact, my nonprofit organization has assured that the mother will be seeing the children for the holidays, and the mother has seen the children twice already in their new domicile. The allegations that I moved a quote unquote homeless man with disabilities, a vulnerable adult, across state lines for sexual activity, which would basically be a RICO charge, is factually untrue. The adult in question, of his own volition, opted to move without any coercion or even discussion with myself, opted to move and was supported to do so, and was encouraged to do as they saw fit, and was already in the process of doing so before I was notified. The party in question has not been coerced, abused, misused, in any way, has not been solicited for quid pro quo favors or sex or anything of that nature, is an adult is not under a guardianship or any type of custody, has their full faculties and is able to make their own decisions, and is caring for their children properly, as they see fit, legally in their own home. The allegations that have been made of misappropriation and misuse of funds, of nonprofit funds, are factually untrue. The nonprofit in question is in good standing with the IRS as well as with the state that it is located in, the Secretary of State. The organization in question, primarily the majority of its budget comes from grant funds and from funds that have been funneled in by the owner, the founder and operator, as this can be done as this is a private operating organization, not a publicly funded charity. However, as a 501c3 nonprofit, donations are still accepted. In this case, every single donation that has gone to this family were targeted funds specifically for that family. Each donor knew that these funds were going to the family and approved as such. Each donor is captured on record and can have a tax deduction and get a receipt as they see fit. So it is factually untrue that anyone is coercing anything or asking people to do anything that they are not supposed to do. It is factually untrue that anyone in the public was coerced or forced to donate or do anything against their will. It is factually untrue that the nonprofit had anything to do with a GoFundMe. Private citizens can create GoFundMes if they see fit, and they are able to do so, and they do so every day. The party in question created their own GoFundMe, which is no longer active, but did so and has every right to do so. It is factually untrue that anyone was swindling the public, that quote unquote homeless people were being used for tax write-offs, as there are no taxes for tax exempt organizations. It is factually untrue. Oh, this is just all so stupid. That there is any attempt to gain custody of these two minor children. These children are in the custody of a parent that cares and loves for them very much. Only in the demise or any type of emergency would the children be elsewhere, and the parent would still retain custody. The arrangement that exists is that if there was a need due to illness or some other emergency for the children to have a safe place to be where they are loved and cared for, they would be there, but the parent would retain their custody at all times, and when the circumstance had ended, the children would return to that parent. It is factually untrue that I am seeking to adopt children or have ever adopted children for financial gain. Despite the foolish lies that have been told, the defamatory statements that have been made by Brown Eye Reacts 2, Shinna Speaks, King of Commentary 2, and the Bougie Collective, or original Bougie. I apologize for not knowing the full name of that YouTube page, but my attorneys have the information. Every single adoption that I have are international adoptions. International adoptions are different than adoptions from the public foster care system in that they occur with private agencies. There are agency fees, travel fees, medical fees, attorney fees, etc. Typically, each international adoption is costing a minimum of $25,000 per child that the adoptive family pays out of pocket, with no government assistance, there is no monthly check. These children do not qualify for any type of income. So the foolishness that anyone is gaining money from their children is a complete lie and a defamatory statement. Furthermore, no funds would be obtained by the children who are not in state custody. So if there was ever a time, a reason, an emergency where the twins needed to reside with their godparent, there would be no funds being collected anywhere. There is no need. Also, contrary to the defamatory statements made by Shinna Speaks, the twins who do not have any disability, and no one, including the parent, is getting a check for the twins of any type. Contrary to the defamatory statements made by Shinna Speaks and King of Commentary 2 and Brown Eye Reacts 2, the children are well cared for. Every moment of their life is not placed on the internet because their parent values their privacy, but the children are given opportunities to learn about numeric literacy and phonics and other things that are age appropriate and developmentally appropriate. They are cared for and loved and have many resources to assist them. Contrary to the lies that have been told about the nonprofit organization, and utilizing the nonprofit for personal gain or to move, quote unquote, move in a man or have sexual relations. There is nothing of that nature that is true. Nonprofit organizations are allowed to select their own criteria for whom they help, they assist. The majority of the clients and entities that I've helped, as well as organizations that have been helped by the nonprofit, are not people that we were familiar with. They are people who, for whatever reason, we were referred to them or we were made aware of them for various reasons. You are not allowed to provide assistance to people who are, who you are previously friends or family with, because that is considered double dealing. You know what I mean? As a conflict of interest. Trying to think of what other lies that were shared. Contrary to the lies of King of Commentary 2, I have known Devon Kane for well over a year. Contrary to the lies that were told by Shinna Speaks on her live, there is no, about an individual being unsafe or not having background checks or placing one's children in danger. None of that is true. I'm trying to think if there are any other lies that need to be debunked at this time. Regarding what has been stated, these salacious remarks that have been made. And unfortunately, I cannot think of any. And so if there are, oh, I'm sorry. I will not be engaging in further discussions about these matters because the legal team will be handling these matters. So you all will, if there are any questions that anyone has, I will direct you to my legal team, to the attorney, to answer those for you. I will not be discussing this matter anymore. I do want to say this. I've been told that I need to, quote unquote, go to the autism sector or the professional sector or whatever sector and not be here. I want to explain something that I want to quote someone. Opinionated News or Open once made a remark, kind of jokingly online that though she's, intelligent and educated, she also can be ratchet. And so essentially she was talking about, the duality that she has as a person, that most people are very multifaceted individuals. In some elements of our life, we might be academic or professional or scholarly, but sometimes we just kind of want to let our hair down figuratively, just enjoy time with our people, just be, engage in things that are fun and lighthearted. Everything doesn't have to be, so serious or political or what have you. And so I wonder sometimes how it is that I got into this godforsaken sector that I, plan to make, spend much less time in, because there's such miserable, dishonest, sickening individuals here. But I now know why. God does everything for a reason. And so I had been watching, as I've shared before, numerous channels that cover this type of content: South White Underbelly, Atlanta Street Interviews, Pull Up and Chat, Lost in Phoenix, et cetera, et cetera. I had been watching a number of these channels, and from there, different reaction and discussion and commentary channels showed up in my algorithm, and I had been following them for approximately a year and a half or so. And and people would say, oh, they're messy, they're this, they're that, all of these different remarks. And so I have been told I don't fit in or I don't belong here or whatever, but I know exactly why God had for me to be in this sector. You see, there's people here who love to play games with people's lives, with people's organizations, and with people's families. They love to tell people to dox them, right, Mr. West and Shinna Speaks? They love to make accusations that could have a negative impact on a nonprofit organization that helps people around the globe and destroy people's work and reputation. And that's not going to fly. So, though at least one of these individuals is well versed with the court system, others are well versed with the jail system, right, Shinna and King? But regardless of the case, I know now that the Lord put me in this sector because there was going to be one person that y'all played with that was going to teach you a lesson. You see, you think you can do things with impunity. You've constantly been harassing, creating problems, causing chaos, lying on, and causing drama for people all over the place, and have gotten away with it. But this time there will be legal ramifications. You will face the natural consequences of your actions. So I am so grateful that God is using me to be the example that you all apparently need. So with that, I know this is not an interesting live because I'm not dragging, I'm not yelling, I'm not cursing, because I'm following the instructions of my legal team, and I'm not going to engage in such behavior with these individuals. I just want to let you all know that the things have been shared, hello Kenyatta, are factually untrue. They can all be proven. They all have documentation. And though the individuals who have been engaging in defamation, they'll have their day in court. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.